Hey everybody, Matthew Monster, back with Marvel Heroes, and we got Psylocke on the chopping block. And she had a quality of life path, so we're going to be reviewing her. And I do have a build, Lady Mandarin, moving on through the evil villains. And this quality of life path is pretty good, just like Ghost Riders. And it sees the obliteration of the old Psi energy. That's gone, and replaced with that is Psi barrier, which absorbs 25% of incoming damage and is regenerated while attacking enemies. So that's a pretty awesome ability. Psi knife now restores Psi barrier. It's not necessary, but it does do it. There's a couple other changes. We got Assassinite's been redesigned to do extra damage while stealth or invisible, and it's an execute and once every 4 seconds again, and it's a movement ability. The way we stealth is a little bit different now. So the way you can stealth is through shadow dash. As long as you don't shadow dash through an enemy, you'll go invisible. You'll go invisible for a short duration. Tends to be easier said than done in a lot of situations. So you won't go invisible too much. So don't really like that. That being said, you can still create a shadow yourself when you use a stealth power. So you don't necessarily have to stealth. Just using shadow dash will still make the decoy. That still happens. And with the Psi energy gone, everything uses spirit. And there's probably a few other changes in there that I haven't really covered up, but they're really not that massive. So for the Lady Mandarin build, we now have points spread across the board evenly here. We are taking telekinetic prowess, even though we're not taking telekinetic skills, really. Because this is just giving you psionic barrier generation effects by 40% increase, damage rating 626, damage rating 627 versus enemies not targeting you, which we probably won't see too much out of that. But with the decoys getting dropped around there, we might get some benefit out of that. But we'll still get benefit out of 626 damage rating. Then when you deal damage while your Psi barrier is over 50%, you get mental damage of 2195 twice per second. And let me tell you, at only 25% damage reduction, it's going to be very limited times where you're going to see that sucker go down so fast. So we're going to do 20 points to Falling Lotus Strike. This is still my favorite skill of all time. It just works wonders. 20 points into Deadly Assassin. This is going to give us a ton of crit rating, critical damage rating, spirit when you crit or brutally strike, defense rating when you use melee power, and base physical damage increase of 20%. You can toggle on to turn all your physical powers into mental damage instead of physical. However, it doesn't make your physical powers mental powers, which is kind of big with psionic resilience. Could be bugged, could just be a wording thing, who knows. Now instead of having to use ninjutsu strike, we figured out a way to get into Kuritsu Gomen. This does approximately 50% more damage than ninjutsu strike, which does 50% more damage than Psi knife. So we're getting a lot of extra damage by going to Kuritsu Gomen, and all we have to do is drop one simple artifact slot to do it. So it's well worth it to do it. Plus you gain extra damage when you use a stealth power, and we're going to be using Shadow Dash. Then we're going to do 20 points into Ethereal Butterflies. I like this skill a lot because it's just hit a button and they fire off, and it's fire and forget. It lets you be a melee character and still have that range happening. 20 points into Psionic Resilience. Even though we're only going to have one mental power, it's going to be Psionic Assault. We'll gain Constitution. It's going to last long enough, 8 seconds. We won't have to drop it every 8 seconds. We'll probably drop it every 4 or 5 seconds. So that will keep Constitution up all the time. It's going to give us a massive amount of defense and a lot of mental defense, and it's going to give us a lot of dodge. We're going to be melee, so we might as well have that. And then finally, the rest of the points get dumped into Psionic Assault, which gives us a little extra damage. It's only like, 2,700 damage, 2,800 damage twice a second. But it slows movement speed and attack speed and weakens enemies all hit by it. I prefer this over Psionic Vortex. Psionic Vortex, you'll get more damage out of it. This will be more defensive. It makes bosses and everything else a lot easier. Trash, who cares about trash? And that's it. So it stays with my real easy way of playing. You basically got Kurasuti or Kurasuti Gomen on there, however you say it, as your basic attack. Shadow Dash as your lunge. Falling Lotus Strike as a secondary. It's actually a movement skill. It's too bad it's not tagged it. But you're going to be using that a lot to move around and do some extra damage, especially with depending on how things fly. You'll see me using it a lot. Psionic Assault is just going to be extra damage and crowd control, and Ethereal Butterflies is extra damage also. And so let's go. Oh, gearing. Oops, almost getting ahead of myself here. And without gear on, I was not going to obliterate Cosmic Dr. Octopus. So I have a defensive Riverless Soul. That's going to help maintain Kurasuti Gomen. And we're going to have Advanced Crimson Crystal Sideric. That's why we're going to stay with our physical damage. Matt Super Heroic Arrowhead. I'm using this a lot now. The reason being is it's allowing me to maintain really high spirit cost, high DPS moves over longer periods of time that we're not supposed to be able to maintain. By doing that, I get to use those as basic powers, all for the cost of one artifact slot. So if I can get 50% damage by switching over my skill set for one artifact slot, I'll trade 50% damage for an artifact slot, easy. We're going to use the Advanced Kung Fu Training Sequence. It's pretty good damage rating. It's good all around for a melee character. And a Danger AI chip. We're melee again. This is physical based. It's going to give us a big chunk of damage rating and physical attacks and some survivability as well. I'm using a Juggernaut medallion. You can see her durability really isn't up there. So this is going to give us some defense, some hit points, and some durability. And that durability is going to give us even more hit points. It's going to help out. So I have Insignia of a Quake on, which gives me a chance to knock enemies down, 3% chance, doing some movement speed, doing some melee power damage. So definitely like that. Got a Cosmic Ring with melee power increase. You can see this is all melee. That's what we really want. Too bad the signature wasn't tagged melee as well, but it's not. And it's got health on the ring. That's going to help us survive. I got a pet with 3 fighting on it. That's all I've unlocked so far. The core has got all hit points on it. It's a 3-1 core, 25% spirit and health on a medkit use. 35% movement speed for 5 seconds when I use a medkit. That's nothing big. That's just something that was on there. And then finally, gearing. I simply have a Cosmic slot 5. Not really doing any kind of bonuses to anything but +1. I have Lady Mandarin's Sinuet, and that's giving us 1,300 health, 2% base damage versus bosses. This could be better. This is only level 50. +1 fighting though. Gain 286 damage versus vulnerable targets. We are making things vulnerable. No, we're not actually. After I'm using a movement power though, we will get the 309 melee damage rating. And then +2 to all powers, +5 to Deadly Assassin, +2 to Falling Lotus Strike, so we like that. Australian Outback Cloak. You know, it's got health on it. When you critically hit with a range power, gain mental damage rating. When you critically hit with a melee power, gain physical damage rating. +5 to all telepathy powers, +4 to ethereal butterflies, so that's pretty good. +5 to telekinetic prowess, that's pretty good as well. Using Amulet of the Right, this is an any hero, but this has got plus damage rating on mental and physical attacks, +1 strength, spirit, and +1 to all powers. And then Shirayuki, and then that's got damage rating. This is only level 50 again. 290 damage rating with melee powers, 660 critical damage rating, 12% chance to cause a target to bleed for a little bit, but that'll help Super Heroic Matt's Arrowhead to make bleeds. We're going to be bleeding with Falling Lotus Strike as well. +3 to ranks of Deadly Assassin, Ninja, +5 to Ninja Assassin powers, +3 ranks of Kurasuti Goemon. I don't know why I'm having such trouble with that. Kurasuti Goemon. Kurasuti. Probably Kurasuti. And that fills her out. You can see a lot of those are level 50, a couple level 60 gears, but we're going to still destroy Cosmic Dr. Octopus. It's going to be a non-issue. Got our bounty tracker up. And she just slices and dices. Just making sure I got my pet on there. Pet's +3 fighting. And I'm basically holding down both buttons, Kurasuti Goemon and Falling Lotus Strike when I'm doing that. And that's keeping me in the air away from the danger. Occasionally I'll do my charge to summon a pet. And unlike before, we don't have to buff the pet with an artifact, so it opened up an artifact for us. It's very nice. Oh yeah, Psionic Maelstrom. We'll go find some mobs and I'll use that on it. This isn't as devastating as a lot of the other ones. Ultimates on the heroes. There's definitely some added damage and it lasts forever. But with the change to psionic projection, that's how we create the shadow decoys. I mean, you get so much health and defense coming off of it being melee. It's crazy, 350% almost. Let's see what we got here. Aura, Poison Cow, Brood, Infested. Well, there's going to be a couple guys here. And again, pretty easy. She just destroys things. Nothing really great. Mind you, that was all with level 50 stuff here. 40, 50, or 50. These are 60. So imagine if you had like full gear, what she'd be like. She easily tore apart Dr. Octopus there. So, that's the quality of life improvements on Psylocke. Definitely brought her back up to high functionality. Just destroys things. And it's so easy to play. A couple buttons and that's all you gotta do. Mash them and have fun. So, hope it helps. Hope you enjoyed. Talk to everybody real soon.